Welcome to Just Us Friends, and you're here in our video library and listening to a video about poverty. Many of our videos are about meditation, about making your life one of clarity, following a path that leads you to becoming all that you are. But for many of us, we have obstacles along the way. And a great obstacle along the way for many is poverty. We can't wave a magic wand and have that brilliant scheme that will put money in our pocket. So most of us are unlikely to win the lottery, and unfortunately a lot of times people who are struggling financially have the fantasy that they will be the lucky winner, and that's where too much of their money may go with this fantasy. And unfortunately too, another place that for many people money may go when we are in pain and struggle in our life is into muting the pain with addictive substances. There's a cycle that is certainly understandable, that when we are dealing with such big challenges, we often also get into cycles of depression or substance abuse or hopelessness. And so in those situations, it's very hard to find a pathway that can keep us feeling hopeful and strong and clear and focused on the task. The task, of course, is having the ability to put our resources, part of which is our time and energy and the money that we do have, into reaching goals that will give us a long-term solution. So many folks that I know that are in prison are there because of desperate measures, feeling the poverty and the challenges of poverty. They made decisions to find a short-term, quick solution, which may have been a criminal one. And as a result, their future was spent in prison. Of course, it's logical that this is not a good solution, but oftentimes in communities where poverty is great, it's almost an accepted solution for many. There is a idea that this is just the way that one can get money in some communities. And it's so accepted that, especially for young men, there's almost a glory of the conquest in going out and robbing a store or an individual. So when we consider the long-range solution to poverty, the only real long-range solution is education. Now, many of you can't even imagine how you could pull together getting an education so that you can get a job and eventually make your way out of poverty. But to develop a plan has to be the first step, no matter how difficult and challenging and unrealistic it is. If you have children, it is imperative that you explain to your children that the most important job they have to do is to graduate from high school and to go on to college. If you have a family plan, then making sure your children go to college and you go to college is a very worthwhile goal. Work together, whether it's to get job training or a degreed education, that will bring all of you forward into a financial situation that is bearable. Now, for the short term, what can you do? Certainly, many of you work 1, 2, 3 jobs, and some of you work 1, 2, 3 jobs with children and going to school. And this is an exhausting situation. So, in doing that, you've got, again, to look realistically at the output so that any money that's coming in is going to go for absolute essentials and not be wasted. You must make sure you have some kind of health care plan, because for many of you that's what has actually wiped you out. You've got to make sure that you have resources for people who are aging in your family, because at some point, if they are needing your support, then that is something else that's impossible to maintain for any period of time. Look at all the resources that are available to you. Go and get counseling, financial counseling if you need it. Check with your community mental health center or the Legal Aid Society and find out who offers financial counseling. If you need help getting out of debt, talk to the Legal Aid Society, but most of all, get a plan and start today. Don't procrastinate. Taking all of your skills and talents and considering what can you do, what can you get for the short run with your skills and talents, and what can you work towards in the long run to maximize your capacity and to become all that you can be. Don't do anything foolish, no matter how strapped you are, that will end up getting you in legal trouble, because that will never be a satisfactory solution. Start today assessing where do you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and start taking the steps to do it. And you can. You have to. There's no other choice.